till the day I die. Hey, swing those hips around. Can't stop, roll back down. My ladies, short, tall, thin or wide, always down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion.
Well, hey, everybody, I'm Tim, and welcome to Cigars Daily Live, coming to you from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, with a show for royalty tonight. Tonight, we dine with kings, because we are going to work together to dig into one of the staples of the cigar connoisseur community, and that is the Connecticut Shade, because tonight, we're going to crown the king of Connecticut Shade Cigars. If you're just getting into the world of cigars, you likely know a lot about Connecticut, probably more about Shade Cigars than just about anything else, because the person who introduced you to cigars either gave you that or an acid. I mean, let's face it. But ultimately, a lot of people get started with Connecticut cigars because they're typically known as the meek, the mild, the lambs of the cigar world. And they're definitely ones that people look to early on, but also the kind of cigars that long-standing aficionados love for the smooth, creamy consistency that they give out. Very good, typically considered to be good for pairing with a cup of coffee, and that's what we're going to dive into tonight. My name is Tim. I am the host of the show, and all of you watching at home, you are the co-host. Your comments and questions will drive this episode, so we want to get to as many of them as we can. Drop them down below, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or the community on Cigars Daily Plus, where we'll be going later on for the after party, the big tech free after party, where there's no supervisors, babysitters, chaperones, as you would put it.
Skynet's not watching.
Skynet is not watched. That's not true. Skynet's everywhere.
That is
I think
true.
we learned that from 7 or 8 different movies about the Terminator.
Yes.
There's nowhere that Skynet eventually became a human being and then went back to its own self. Isn't that the Genesis one?
Yes.
And yet here we are still doing AI. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
We-
but Skynet came from like toasters. Like, wasn't it like
Came from which
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking
You're
of,
thinking
Which
of
Terminator movie
Transformers.
did you watch?
No, I'm thinking of Battlestar Galactica. My
Oh,
fault.
okay,
Yeah,
alright.
yeah.
did Battlestar Galactica come from toasters?
So basically, yeah. So it was like a software that they had on like a bunch of appliances, and they're like, "We're tired of being used so hard." So then they uprose, and then humans had to go to space. Anyway, it's not that great of a show. It's solid, but not that great. But
Dear
yeah,
God.
yeah.
All right. Then, by the way, I can't run this show by myself. In order to make this awesome for you every single week, I need these people who are in the room with me, sitting behind the camera, is Billy the Kid on comments and El Rey
I need
Del
to figure out. Terrence has got his cool little like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't do finger pals. Don't do don't use come to the
You spirit fingers.
Maybe
It's a-
spin it and put it in the holster one
Yeah.
time. Spin it. Yeah.
That's kind of tight.
I like
All
in
right.
the newest Space Jam, Yosemite Sam, instead of having his guns that he does his Yosemite Sam thing with, he just has finger guns.
Does he
that does
really?
it with.
They,
Yeah.
they
I did not
censored
watch-
Yosemite Sam and the see. This is why.
See,
remakes
I didn't
are-
watch that one on principle. I don't watch movies where they mix real and cartoon characters. I don't believe in that.
Wait, so you never watched Who Framed Robert Rabbit? Or...
No, back in the day I did. Just-
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What about
Yeah.
Cool World? Did you like Cool
Cool.
World?
You know
Cool
I'm allergic to
World?
Clouds.
What the hell are you talking about? All right.
Go
Well,
watch Cool
and
World.
sitting third chair tonight, who probably has seen Cool World,
Uh-huh.
is Ryan, destroyer of League of
That's
Providers.
what a Brad Pitt movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brad
Yeah,
Pitt was in a
very-
movie with
very
cartoon
old.
characters.
Early
Yeah.
90s.
Low point in his
it's a good
career.
movie.
Yeah. Look at him now. All right. Whatever he's doing now. Who cares?
I don't know what he's.
All right. I want to get to some comments from the fine people. Billy, what the hell are people talking about at home tonight?
This is coming in pretty hot right now.
Coming in hot. Chris Marshall. Glad to see a shirt from Billy that doesn't cause seizures. I'm glad to see that too, man. Billy not getting the t-shirt tonight from Kevin Reynolds on
Nice.
Facebook.
He got a letter from the
Let's see what
Epileptics
kind of
of
shirt.
America.
What is the result of his shirt here? What does
is
your
it?
shirt do to the camera? No, it's pretty good.
No, it's pretty
It's
clean.
like it looks like somebody spilled blue and orange sprinkles all over it, but since it's a little bit
Yeah.
farther away,
It
you
does
can't
look like a
really-
Smurf sneezed on your shirt. So that's unfortunate.
Sneezed, yeah, sneezed.
Yeah, he sneezed. That's what he did. Yeah.
Papa
All right.
Smurf.
Papa Smurf, no. Why is there only one girl Smurf and so many Smurfs? What are we doing?
Smurf cocky. I mean, what?
Billy?
There's also an apology from last week.
Yeah,
Oh.
there better
Can
be.
you do this in your most apologetic voice?
The dusty kermitometer. I apologize for misspelling Terrence last week, and congrats on smoking the Woody. That's like winning a fight in 40 seconds. All four of you guys are tops with me. Hemingway would approve of you manly men. I don't think that's how you intended it to be read. Yeah, smoking the Woody, that's like winning a fight in 40 seconds. Because the other guy hurt himself, by the way. Winning a fight in 40 seconds is fine. If you knock a guy out in 40 seconds, that who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
But if the other guy's like, he grabs his leg and he just goes, oh no, I'm going down. You're like, wait, don't do it.
Yeah, it's
Please
hard,
come back.
it's because it's hard to take credit for it, right?
Right.
You're like, yeah, I wanted your leg to do that.
They gave me the belt and I was like, really, guys? They're like, yeah, we have to. All right.
Is
Whatever.
it
Like, we
playing
just don't want to
pool
take it home.
where you have to call your shots?
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
maybe
you have to
you-
call a shot.
To Ryan's point, maybe you intended for his leg to give
You're
out.
like, I'm gonna hit you so hard, something in your leg is gonna malfunction. And he was like, what? And
That-
oh,
that is how boxing works. It's just like billiards. And so everybody knows, you do have to call your shots. And then second of all, I just want to be clear to the dusty kermitometer. I misspelled Terrence's name. I don't know if I've spelled your name. I honestly am not 100% certain of the spelling of Terrence's name.
yeah.
Now, I do know that he manages to cash his paychecks. So,
So you don't exactly sign off on those.
I don't exactly.
But
No, I don't
and
sign them
think
myself.
My name is spelled properly in your phone, but everywhere else it's just misspelled, and I just don't. I'm making jokes on the internet because it's just funny to do so, but nobody spells my
All
name
E's, double R.
That's because your name's not spelled right.
Listen,
right. Well, that's a different
I
story.
It's not
can't
spelled
say-
the prototypical way that you
I
spell it.
cannot. Listen. I'm not going to say the joke that's in my head right now, but I need a reminder during the. Not even sure if I'd say it during the after party.
I'll tell you in the after party. How about that, Tim?
All right.
All right, Billy. What's the next comment looking like?
Terrence. Okay. I want to say it so bad because it's so funny. Smoke check 114. Hey guys, I had my first Davidoff the other day, and it just happened to be the late hour. Oh my gosh. Impeccable, I must say. Is there a cigar out there with a similar taste or aroma without the sticker price? All right, Smoke Check. Let's dive into that. Davidoff, you first Davidoff is a Davidoff late hour? My God. Terrence, I think you're probably going to be the expert on cigars of this. I
Caliber.
can give my input on it. I haven't smoked a lot of late hours though.
I am looking up the wrapper leaf so I can at least get some kind of information on this.
I had to do this because I got the late hour short Panatellas, the
Yes.
Winston Churchill ones.
Yes, yes.
Davidoff late hour. I'm looking it up here. This is going quick. Let's see. These guys always have the best one. Here's all the different ones. All right. It is a Ecuador Habano. Oh, Ecuador Habano. That's like half of everything.
Yeah, that's like that's
Binder is Mexico and Ecuador. Fillers Nicaragua.
I would say I'm gonna shamelessly plug. You know, if you like it a little darker with a good
Shameless
Habano wrapper, Dama Velada is gonna be a nice, enjoyable. It's gonna be a little bit more on the sweet side compared to the savoriness, but the construction's all there. I would have to say that. Another good dark Habano cigar would probably be like the Siri O from Oliva. That has a good. It's a Esteli Habano Puro, so everything's from the same city. And I would say that's probably going to be one of your best bets. Is going to be one of those.
You know what it made me think of is the Monte Cristo Nicaragua series.
I wasn't the biggest fan of that one.
I know you weren't. I know you didn't like it. You said that to me the other day. And then I was like, don't talk about how much you don't like that cigar on the show. But then you just did. I'm just kidding. But you did. You mentioned to me the other day you didn't like it.
Which I do like the 1935.
The anniversary. So if you want a good Monte Cristo, less than the price of that Davidoff, The 1935 anniversary is outstanding.
Yes.
And Dama Velada, I would have to agree with you. For a cigar that's hearty and good and does have a little bit more sweetness, American Viking knocks it out of the park on that. In addition, for the late hour, something it's like medium plus in strength with a little bit darker of that Ecuador Habano wrapper on it. I'm like walking through the humidor in my mind. These are darker than it, but the one that comes to mind is like Opulencia from My Father, which is definitely darker. But what's the next one, Billy? What are you laughing at?
I forgot that the camera was on me, and I went to do something. But
Billy almost smoked from Tim Snyder. Now
oh.
Everyone's policing it for us.
Yes.
They are.
So we're attempting to switch cameras so that we're not actively committing
A sin.
an act on screen,
YouTube sin.
because I think there's a time coming where that's going to be impolite and considered taboo. And so I know other shows do it. I get it. Absolutely. Our goal is to be here forever. And so we'll do whatever it takes. If I have to wear, a hazmat suit to do the show, I'll do it. I really will.
Tim,
All right.
you know what you should do?
Yeah. What's that? Get a
Wear
hazmat
suit, but
Yeah.
cut a hole in the front so you can then insert it.
Like all those people during the Schmandemic who were up in what was the state? It was Michigan, where they eventually outlawed lounges. Like you could be open, you could go in, you just couldn't you couldn't be in a place eating or drinking or smoking unless they serve food or something. It was one of those really obscure rules that didn't make any sense. So people had the masks and they were cutting holes in them, and then they were sampling the cigars. They could buy their box and then they could buy a sample.
Yes.
I forget how they did it. It was just the epitome of bureaucracy. All right,
I got some quick hits that I'm going to hold you to. Quick hits.
you want to do a
Okay.
timer? You can do play me off music if you want, the play me off box.
If you just start going long, I'm just going to have
You wanna
Ryan
cut me
pull
off?
you. Yeah.
All right, but they're always
All right,
so
here we
good.
go.
Your quick hits are always really good. Let's do some quick hits. Here we go.
These
Really
are
fast.
legit quick hits.
Okay.
Mike Morton, thanks to you knuckleheads, I can't stop saying Karen Burger. Burger. Dude, I want to see the uptick in when she goes to events. People are like, "Oh, Karen Burger, how are you doing?" I just want her to be like, "What the hell happened to my name?" She has no idea it's our show. Banker John says, "Tim, must say those Earth sticks are a real banger." You damn straight they are, and I'm so glad you. Dude, Earth is the #1 cigar that people are posting right now, sharing out there, and I'm glad that people like it. People are sliding that little ring down to the foot, checking that out. Thank you guys for trusting me. I hope that that's been a very pleasant experience for everyone. Burger. Kevin Gruel says, cigar lounge etiquette question. Should you say something if you see someone with a half-lit cigar? Now, this is a matter of opinion. I say yes. Now, the only thing that matters is, would you want to know if your cigar was half lit, if a booger was hanging out of your nose, if your fly was down and one of the goblets was hanging out? Would you want someone to tell you? And I think that you would. And so if you are the type of person who would want to know, 100%, and I do, I've said it to people in the lounge at the HQ here, yo, bro, you're only half lit on that thing. And I consider it, but if somebody has something on their face, I'll definitely you have something right here, or something's coming out, that doesn't bother me. Once you get past it, everybody's better. Would you guys do it? Was that?
I would hope at this point that I would know if my cigar was half lit.
Well, so I get, yes, you're right. And in the reviews, I always light it and I blow on the foot, and I always blow on the foot, which you do. You blow on the foot to make sure that it's completely lit all the way around.
I think it's more because I catch myself seeing people. Me and my wife went to a lounge that served food, and there's people, you could tell it was their first time, and they're a half.
This was like a swingers thing.
Pineapples on the outside door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could tell that it was their first time, and
Sure.
I wanted to go over, but I also didn't want to be that guy that was like, excuse me,
Just let me
Okay.
educate you for a second.
can I educate you?
I understand it, because you don't want to walk across the room to be like, "Hey, bud, it's half lit."
Yeah.
If they're close to you, I understand that. Me, I would just take it, put it in my mouth, and then just relight it for them, and then hand it back to them.
I think it's polite to tell somebody. Ryan?
Yeah, well, it's about how you say it, right? So I would say, hey, I'm not sure if you're aware, but your cigar's burning down one side.
That's the woke way to do it. I don't know if you're
Hey,
aware of
dumbass,
this.
you didn't light your cigar the right way.
The
Ryan,
reason
when's
I-
your blue mullet coming in, man?
The reason I say this is because I think getting your cigar half lit is something I've seen beginners do as much as seasoned people do. And seasoned cigar lovers do this when they're in the middle of a conversation. You're in the middle of a conversation, you're lighting your cigar. If you're really interested in what somebody's saying, they may just half light it. And I've heard this as a complaint from cigar makers. Like I forget who it was I talked to. I was like, what's your one pet peeve? And they're like, people who half light their cigars because they're just not paying attention. I've even had to go back in a review and reshoot a cigar review because I didn't light the cigar all the way. It takes focus to make sure you get every bit of the foot and every bit of the edge of the foot. Like that's a part of the thing that if you don't pay attention, you're gonna.
But don't you feel like a total boss when you just put it in your mouth and you light it and you don't look at it and you just get a perfect burn?
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
It feels
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
It feels nice.
especially when you're talking to someone.
Yeah.
Because if no one notices that it really happened. All right.
It's like showing your dominance in the cigar.
Are we still doing quick hits? Because that wasn't that quick.
Yeah.
That was
Ryan,
not that
Ryan,
quick.
why didn't you pull us out of quick hits?
Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Brian Bennett. Tim, how do you and Cigars Daily cast members feel about the cigars with filler first that you smoke? Did I just read that wrong? The cigars with filler first that you smoke, and then the wrapper like Camacho Factory.
It
to
took me a few
unleash.
shaggy feet.
Shaggy
Yeah.
Foot cigars. So with Shaggy Foot cigar is a cigar where the wrapper leaf extends almost to the foot, but not all the way to the foot. There's like a half, maybe 3/4 of an inch of unwrapped foot. It's a different type of thing. The reason that they do this, that's like pretty blunt, is to show you what the flavor contribution of the wrapper is. So if you smoke just filler and binder for a 3/4 of an inch of the cigar, and then you get into the wrapper, it brings about new elements to the flavor, and it's supposed to give you a different experience. You can make arguments for it or against it because typically that first third is flavor development for most cigars anyway. So when you light up any cigar, even if the wrapper goes all the way to the foot, you're going to find that you're getting flavor developing in that same amount of space, even with the wrapper. So I would say, Terrence, do you notice that foot fetish cigars have got they change the flavor like
I'd
more than a
pay
regular
more
cigar?
for the foot fetish cigars. But yeah, I really do enjoy. I still near and dear to my heart. I've only got one left. Factory Unleashed 3. I wish I was able to get my hands on more. That cigar starts off like really leathery, and then once you get to the Mexican San Andreas wrapper, it just changes it a whole lot. Even not necessarily a Shaggy Foot, but still a really good cigar is the Persian King from Grand Habano.
Yeah.
The
It's the
Connecticut
sleeper cigar.
sleeper. Been smoking them for years, but yeah, I absolutely enjoy them a whole lot. It's fun. It's something different, and I still toast them, so I might get a little bit of holes in my shirt from them, but
Ooh.
it's part of
Yeah,
my,
that
my
was the
rit- my
next. Yeah,
ritual.
I'm sorry. I was going to grab that from Kurama. Do you toast your Shaggy, Tim? Always. Oh yeah.
Not in public.
Yeah, not in public. Yeah, I still toast the Shaggy Foot, but it's weird because so the wrapper leaf it gives the cigar the character of its flavor for sure, but it also is an important piece of construction because the binder leaf is basically pressed and squeezed around the cigar. That's why it looks like a shriveled up
Leaf. Sure.
leaf. Thank you. And so as you light that, the Shaggy Foot really expands out before you get to the wrapper leaf. And so I still toast it though. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah.
All right. I want to keep coming to your comments and questions. Is that the end of quick hits?
Let me check real quick if we got any other quick hits. Oh, here, yeah, this is actually yes.
Go for it. Benny B says, can you use filtered water for an electric humidor instead of distilled water? That's how I think Benny B sounds. He just walks around. He's like, hey guys. Benny B here. I know people who have and said they've had no problem with it, but personally, I wouldn't.
You got to do reverse osmosis.
RO water. Go on.
RO. I use RO at home, and I've never had an issue with it.
Yeah.
But you
Or-
can't just like if you go to the grocery store and you get like spring water or filter water.
I've had mold in a humidor because of that.
Yeah.
Bottled water, whatever
you
it
gotta
is.
do distilled or RO.
Yeah, labels are liars, and so don't ever trust them. I would steer away from filtered water And I've heard people say like, no big deal. Hey, the wrench is on. Hi, wrench. Love you.
Hi.
All right. Hi. All right. I want to keep coming back to your comments and questions, so drop them down below. But we have to talk about a colossal issue. We're going to go into the King of Connecticuts tonight. We've got various Connecticuts around the studio right now. I have got my father's Don Pepin Garcia 20th anniversary Connecticut.
I don't have a graphic for that one, Tim.
No, you don't. I didn't put a graphic in the show.
Oh, okay.
I just took one out of the humidor because it's a $100 cigar.
Yeah.
Did you
And
adjust stock on that one?
I did adjust. I did.
Okay.
I did adjust the inventory my own self. And a great Connecticut, like definitely one of those cigars that gives you that extra layer of refinement, smooth and very interesting cigar.
Very good cigar.
Anyway, around the studio, Ryan, what have you got tonight?
I've got Perdomo's 30th anniversary Connecticut.
All right, we're going to be coming back to these later on. So I just want people to know what you guys have. Perdomo 30th anniversary, Billy the Kid.
I have the Shady Moose.
Shady Moose. And El Rey del Terrence, of course, has an... Oh, okay. A cigar for the people. Is that what that was? What are we doing? Are you keeping it?
I was just covering the band because yes, obviously it's an El Rey.
Steve Saka's here.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. All right.
Uh-oh.
Don't say anything wrong, guys.
Uh-oh.
And that's the show.
And that's the show, everybody. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. No. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to dive into something. I'm going to do a quick segment with you guys, and then we're going to dive into the King of Connecticuts after we get some of your comments. But you guys know something is coming up, and that is a huge deal for us in the Cigars Daily Nation, and that is Cigartopia. The nation of Cigartopia is coming to the Cigars Daily HQ November 9th. This is officially launched. Tickets are out there in the wild. We want to invite you guys to come down. This is going to be a huge event. We've been talking about this for a while because it's this country that we discovered just magically off the coast of Mexico that's definitely not the same shape as Lithuania.
Definitely not.
And it's a continent-sized country. Absolutely. It's bigger than all of the other cigar growing and rolling countries put together. Cigartopia is its own magical land, the luxury land of, well, wait, the luxury land of leaf and luxury. What is it on the flag? Do we have that big flag? The land of leaf and the home of flavor. No, that's not the slogan.
Way off.
As we get closer to Cigartopia, though, I want to take you guys inside the country of Cigartopia and show you what a cigar-centric country is like. It's amazing how much it's like the country we live in, although completely different at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a brand new segment on this show called The News in Cigartopia. I'm going to report to you each week just a few things going on in Cigartopia. Of course, you guys can learn more about this on the community on Cigars Daily Plus. And this week in Cigartopia, a lot is going on. So I do want to encourage you, stay tuned for this and drop your cigar comments and questions down below. Billy is free to grab comments specifically about the news and what's going on in Cigartopia. Tim, stop. I'm now here for Saka. Son of a bitch. Steve Saka comes in. He's just like, hey, guys, what's up? I'm Steve Saka. I'm here now. That's not how Saka sounds, but
It's kind of
okay.
It's close enough.
This week in Cigartopia, lots of things going on in a cigar-centric country. You know, I've shown you guys pictures. We've shown you the flag. You can see the flag right here. This is what the flag for the nation of Cigartopia looks like. It's a beautiful flag. It shows what Cigartopia is really all about, and that's roving, rolling hills filled with leaf that gets grown and perfectly cured into cigars. It's a land where cigar smokers and lovers can be free, but that doesn't mean that it's not without its own political, social issues. So as we dive in, here's the first thing that's going on in Cigartopia. This week in Cigartopia, the National Convention of Cigartopia has started in the city of Puffington Heights. During this convention, the sole presidential candidate, Rico Barato, has stepped up. Thank you. Rico Barato has stepped up to share his platform as the presidential candidate for Cigartopia. His platform consists of several highly important new things that he wants to do when he's the president. The things that he's proposing as your presidential candidate include immediate jail time for people who stamp out their cigars in an ashtray. This one's popular among the people. He has vowed to put a stop to doctors who do not hand out cigars after delivering a baby.
naturally.
In his words, cigars have one job, and it's to hand out cigars after they deliver a baby. Number 3, he vows to create brand new jobs, 25,000 new jobs in the world of cigar taste testing. And he
Ooh.
plans to do that in the first quarter of the first year given any willing participants. And finally, subsidizing 25 cigars to every new cigar smoker who, in his words, quote, do not know jack crap about what's good and what's not. After the convention, outside the convention hall, however, there was a small protest where protesters have gathered against the convention to stand against small ring gauges.
Boo.
Two sides of this argument have claimed that some ring gauges are far too small, being that scientific studies show that more leaf produces more flavor, while the opposition to this argument say that smaller ring gauges produce more flavor with wrapper to binder ratio. It should be noted that this news channel specifically says that there is no scientific evidence on how much of the flavor the wrapper provides to the cigar. Finally, after this, there was, in fact, Cigartopia authorities forced to turn to crowd control smoke to calm Gurkha fans who became overly excited during the convention. Back to you, Terrence.
Yes, hi, Tim.
That was, by the way, a segment I literally thought of about 25 minutes before the show. I'm trying to figure out how to bring Cigartopia to life for everybody. That's what I really want to do. Saka just says pooey. Pooey. All right. Bring the comments, bring the questions. Let's talk about it.
Terrence, go to the
So here's what I got to say about these.
not that one.
No matter what you do, it for some reason puts American flags in the background of all my Cigartopia stuff. So anytime I talk about political stuff or riots, ChatGPT automatically puts an American flag in the background. You're like, protests, riots. It's like, oh, America. Right. I forgot.
I brought this up in the start of the show. This one, it says,
Bigger ring grouges now. Cigartopians.
I grow opinions in the back there.
Where does it say that?
On the circle sign.
It's not very good. The top of the building says National Pollicle Convention.
Also, on the right-hand side, it says want bigger GGER now. I don't know what that word under that is, but oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, no, it's just I just want to bring the place to life for everybody. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make Cigartopia a place that we all feel like we can go. All right. He has my vote, Rico Barato, right? Take a look at this very handsome guy. He looks nothing like Rico Barato on the cigar ring of Rico Barato cigars.
That's senior. This is junior.
Yeah, I
okay.
thought about calling him Medio Barato, but it didn't have the same brand recognition. Rico has the hair Tim wants. You damn straight about that.
Yeah, that's some gorgeous
bro.
curls right there.
I drink.
Locks.
Wait, you guys can see I haven't really shaved today, and so I've got the cul-de-sac going right now, and it's strong. Someday I might grow it out for you guys.
I feel like
look like Dr.
If
Phil
you
when I
lose
do
a
it.
bet, you need to do that.
All right. Anything else about Cigartopia news?
Here's the deal. Your Cigartopia news was fantastic. Everyone's enamored. Thank you. By Mr. Saka.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are. Yeah,
Did you-
I see this here. Shane says Saka for president. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. There's a reason I didn't choose a picture of Steve Saka as president.
Would you like some Saka comments?
Give me some Saka comments.
'Kay.
Because here's the deal. I have a microphone and Steve Saka doesn't right now. So I can say anything I want. Although, just like Steve Saka, I have the same priority, and that's protect the account.
We have
protect the relationship.
We
What are
have
doing?
another apology from Steve
Yeah.
Saka.
Oh, okay, good. Thanks for messing up the show. Sorry to crash, Steve Saka. Sorry to crash. I will stop pimping. I really should just go home. My eyes are bleeding. Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And that is about as close to an apology as I ever expect to get.
And
from
then
Steve.
someone was smoking a bronze back, and this was his response.
Steve Saka says, thanks, Alex. Glad you enjoyed. It's one of those ligas that I wasn't sure how the Gen Pop would receive it. Thanks for using a prison term to describe all of it to your fans. It's a bit spicy and a bit sharper than most of my ligas. Just so you guys know who are getting into the cigar world, you hear the word liga used in reference with specific cigars, but liga is a word that just means blend.
Mhm.
So when Steve Saka talks about his ligas, he means his blends. And for sure, the bronze back, when he talks about the bronze back, that's a blend where he used, and I'm going to say this mostly right, Steve, but I'm also not going to correct myself when I say something wrong. So you can just sit there and enjoy this. It's a broadleaf, a particular broadleaf that doesn't get used as much for broadleaf cigars because it grows lower on the plant. Also, I'm told that broadleaf as a plant, it grows substantially shorter than a lot of other varietals of cigar leaf plants, tobacco plants. A lot of these plants can grow 10, 12 feet tall, but broadleaf can get like half that's height, half the yield. And they also, stock cut them at the bottom. So there's a lot of differences to broadleaf, a lot of reasons that they used to not be considered suitable for premium cigars. Guys like Steve Saka have turned them into very highly popular, perhaps even among the most popular wrapper leaves to use on premium cigars today. And that Umbagog Bronzeback is one of those. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of those in my humidor soon.
There's
Steve.
people asking if those will ever be in your humidor.
Yes, I will have them. I literally, Steve's wife called me today and said, "Hey, Steve just noticed that your humidor didn't have as much of what it should. Do you need to send me a request for some stuff?" And I was like, "Sure." So Steve can go check on that and see that I drained the piggy bank. All right.
Billy, what's our next comment looking like?
Next
Is it
comment.
another Saka?
No, Steve's sitting back right now. He's just listening to everything I just said about Leaf that was wrong, and he's just going, Tim.
You just hear him typing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, Billy, give us another one. Ian, wait. Where's the after party? So the after party
No, the
is
after party.
Oh, the after party. Oh, it's at your mom's house.
Oh, sick bird. Sick bird.
Could not resist because of the chat. All right. Keep dropping your cigar comments and questions down below. Did people really like the Cigartopia news thing?
Yeah, Billy,
Billy-
you're the one who sees all the comments.
There was a lot of comments about it.
All right,
Just
all right,
that
good.
he's got my
I'm
vote.
gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna do that each week. I'm gonna give you guys some headlines from Cigartopia. You'll notice that they'll always kind of mimic what's going on. They're gonna be like, what's going on in our system here, and I'm just gonna use a Cigartopia as a platform to make fun of it. Of course, you guys can go out and find tickets out there in the wild for Cigartopia. There's going to be new, different special guests at Cigartopia that weren't there at HabanoCon. Specifically, Laurel Tilley is going to be there from AJ Fernandez Cigars. Justin Andrews is going to be in attendance from Diesel, from Los Stados Cigars, from all the stuff that Justin Andrews does now. Oliva Nick is going to be there. Of course, myself and the entire Cigars Daily crew is going to be at Cigartopia. Go to Cigars Daily Plus.
I still
learn
feel
more.
like you went into Chat GPT and was like, I need a Greek guy smoking a cigar and smiling.
Yeah.
That
Nix
just
looks like
a fake
Nix
picture.
looks like AI tried to take a stab at yeah.
And it did pretty well.
Yeah. Give me a guy who didn't quite make it as a made man in the Greek mafia, but wanted to really bad. That's what Nick looks like. All right. Keep dropping your cigar comments and questions down below. I want to dive into a segment we do every single week on this show called the Cigars Daily Nation Pick of the Week. This one is coming from the Cigars Daily Nation Facebook group once again. This one is from a user called VLP. We're talking about King of Connecticuts tonight, so I wanted to be sure to feature the Connecticut's that we've all loved, and one that, by the way, has been MIA for about, 30 months. Feels like 30 months. And that's Johnny Tobacco Knot from Room 101. VLP has put up, this is a quote, a poem, doesn't matter. Here's what it says. The moon will guide you through the night with her brightness, but she will always dwell in the darkness in order to be seen. Shannon L. Alder. Wonderful. I love it. Very thought-provoking. There's a picture of a tripped-out moon man on LSD there or something like that.
Next to Saturn, not even the moon.
He's just floating next to Saturn. He's like, I am lost.
I think
It said take a left on Europa, but I think I went right.
it looks like a Hot Topic poster.
Hot
All right,
topic.
All right, you can take that down. Let's go ahead and jump into some comments from the fine viewers. Drop your cigar comments and questions down below. We're going to get on to determining who's the King of Connecticuts in just a second here. But first, I want to hear from you people. Put it all down below. Billy Scour in the comments. Brent Nye is here. Dumb question alert. Ashtray etiquette. I smoke outside and hose mine off after every time I smoke. Do you wash your ashtrays or no? What's the consensus?
Wash your ashtrays, please. Nobody needs it stinking up the whole environment that you smoke.
But if it's outside,
No, because as soon as you open the door, or if you smoke close to that sliding glass door, your patio door, the smell can still.
I mean, I
linger.
dump mine out and wipe it, but I'm not like getting out there with.
You don't need to like power wash it.
Yeah,
or anything,
I
but
give it a nice little wipe and dump it out in the. And that.
That's
tends to work
fair.
pretty
That's fair.
He dumps it on his chickens.
I'm pretty
Billy's
sure they
like,
eat
"Eat
it too.
the
They have to
ash."
eat the ash.
Actually, I do.
Do they eat the? You dump hot ash on your
I
chickens?
don't dump hot ash, on them, but I do use the ash in their bath because
Okay.
ash is really good for their skin. It's what they bathe in.
Wow, that's
So
what
it
a-
has what the chickens need.
Yeah.
So I would say this: whether it comes to washing out your ashtray, do it, don't do it. It doesn't matter. Personally, I am a fan of 99.9% of absolutely everything related to cigars. In the cigar world, there's one thing I cannot stand, and it is the smell of an ashtray filled with ashes. It grosses me out. Like that, when there was a good selling point for them when they're young. We're like, if you smoke, your mouth will stink like an ashtray, and girls won't want to kiss you on the lips. Well, guys don't want girls to kiss them on the lips anyway.
Hot
But I got to say this, the smell of an ashtray really bothers me. Hold on a second. I want to take this. Nope, it wasn't that one. Who uses the ashtray? I wipe them out every time. Easy E says Billy uses dude wipes. That's funny. All right. I personally wash out my ashtrays at home, but also it all has to do with what's your ritual. Everybody's got a ritual for sitting down to enjoy a cigar because it is the diversion from your day. It's a thing where you stop and sit down and do it. So having a ritual is good. If a clean ashtray improves your ritual, clean it out. Absolutely. Clean it out every time. Wipe the thing down. There is something for me about sitting down with a nice clean ashtray and like lighting up your cigar, and it feels like a good start to a great time. I have ashtrays at home that I don't clean out when I use them. And every time I go outside, I'm like, that's so gross. And then I just like grossed out at myself because I didn't clean it. And I'm like, oh, that's trashy. But, you do you. Billy doesn't care. He just dumps his ash on his chickens.
I just dump them. I'm like, come here, girls.
Come here, girls. I'm going to make it rain. Cody Gaylor says, Billy, can you ask Tim how we get the cool stickers?
Billy, can you ask Tim for us, please?
Tim, how do we get the cool stickers?
Cool stickers are headed out the door starting today.
Yes.
They just go out the door magically. It's a magical thing, and you can ask more about that on the after party.
Do you have photos of?
No,
No?
I took one and I did not edit it into the show because I wanted to put in that Cigartopia segment. So I didn't do it at all.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right, keep it going. Drop your cigar comments, questions down below. Billy is scouring to get the best ones.
Are we not going to talk about what happened on Saturday? Of
Saturday
risk?
night for 5 hours, Tim. Hashtag
Hold on a
rock
second.
dice.
I'm gonna grab a few comments right here.
Okay.
I'm just gonna grab a few, Billy.
Yeah.
And I want to say this about cleaning the ashtray. William P says, hell yeah, clean that ashtray. Dan Elting says, my local B&M always has clean ashtrays. It is great. Yep. His local B&M happens to be feet from here. And the guys who work there do a spectacular job of keeping the ashtrays clean.
Do they have Shaggy feet?
They do, like people or the cigars?
Well, at his local BMN.
Yes, they do. Ian says, my ashtray is always clean because my ash never makes it to it.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Sounds
that
like Billy on Saturday.
Phil DeYoung says, I always wipe it with a Clorox wipe.
I've used those.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, there's just something about a clean ashtray.
It also depends on what you got. If you got a porcelain one, a lot easier to clean. Versus though you had those Placencia wood ones.
oh my gosh, those things burn. But they
Yeah.
don't make those anymore. They stopped making those things. Chris Marshall says, I always clean out my ashtray and wipe down the table before I leave. Good for you.
That's a great etiquette
All right.
there for yourself.
And then Steve Saka made another comment, so let's just go ahead and read it because everybody wants to know what it says, of course. Steve says, Cody, Liga is done, but haven't even started on the packaging. I'm assuming he's asking about the cigar that Steve and I are working on. And when I say Steve and I, of course, correctly means Steve and Steve alone is working on it. I've done basically anything. That's not true. I sent Steve a list of names that he didn't like, and then he came up with a great name. So, you know.
One of
in
those
fact,
names was my name, and he shot it down. So it's like I'm one more step closer to Steve as well.
that's right. In fact, Tim reached out to me like a week or two, and I forgot to call him back. There we go. All right, there it is. All right. Dan Elting says this, risk results. Listen, if you're in the Cigars Daily Nation Facebook group, I'm going to hit this really fast, guys, and then I'm going to come straight back to your comments and questions. Post your cigar comments and questions down below, and then we're going to dive into the King of Connecticuts. I want to talk about Connecticut Shade, especially since Saka's here. He's got a special lease on this Connecticut Shade topic, so I'm sure that he'll chime in at some point about this. We played Risk on Saturday night.
We did.
We have a game called Risk Legacy that changes. It's a different board game every time you play it. And so we've been playing through it together. We just played the second of like 15 games. It took 5.5 hours because you're supposed to use, like, if you've ever played Risk, you attack a country in Risk, you roll 3 dice and the defender rolls 2 dice.
Yep.
But the defender wins ties, and that keeps it kind of even. Well, we had the defense rolling with 3 dice and winning ties.
Yeah,
so the game was
tougher.
it was impossible to attack anyone because you
Yes.
just got obliterated when it happened. But we do look like a bunch of virgins playing it.
Yes.
And of course, I posted a picture about that in the Cigars Daily
King
Nation.
Ryan over
It-
on his side.
It should be noted that that during this game of Risk, Terrence, surprisingly, I had Africa. Terrence had Terrence had South America solidly down, and he was stuck between Billy in North America and me in Africa. He couldn't really get out. So he's just amassing troops, and he just wanted to be left alone. And I attacked him in South America, which really seemed to visibly upset him. Like Terrence went from like happy-go-lucky Terrence to like upset Terrence in a way that I haven't seen before.
I
and then-
wasn't upset. I just felt disrespected. You know,
you
so I
did
had
feel
to-
this just because we had an agreement on that border for so many turns. Anyway, I'll say this: Terrence won the game. Like in one move, he just decided he was going to win. And Ryan and I played hate Risk, which meant we destroyed ourselves trying to take out.
Yeah.
So it was a great.
It was
I don't-
baller.
It was
Like
very
it just
very
like watching
kamikaze
you
style.
guys crash out was so sick. I was like,
I gotta say
they're
this.
just gonna keep rolling. Okay, cool.
The whole topic of Risk is something that I would love to be able to talk about. I don't think that the audience overall wants to see that, but if there's a way for us to give you what happens during those games, because it is hilarious. If there was a way for us to give it to you, I would. I just want to make sure it's in the
Risk
right.
Legacy Live.
Risk Legacy Live. Yeah, we'll just cast it in the Facebook group next
There you
time.
go.
No, that's good. You can't cast that on the Facebook group. That would have to be
No.
on the after party.
That's an after party.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Also, this came up, and I want to shout Silver out.
Silver Billy, your army looks so organized compared to everybody else's. Yeah, we
Thank
posted
you.
a picture of this, and Billy's army was perfectly organized on the
Until he
table.
ashed on it. And
4
then
times.
And then he holds it and he blows and the ash goes all over the board. It was fun. Kind of funny.
All right, another game coming up soon. Any more comments not Risk related that we can dive into as the peak concurrence dive into the bottom of the depths? Wyatt Corey, hey CEO Billy, any update on Cigars Daily shirts? Billy,
No.
what do you say about that?
Quick hit. No.
but
But can we talk about the other things that are going to be at Cigartopia?
Yeah, like what?
The flags?
Oh yeah, I'm getting Cigartopia flags made for everyone that comes. That's my goal. I shouldn't say I'm doing it until I've done it. Ryan and I, when I say Ryan and I mean Ryan gave the job to Ryan to do. Ryan compiled a list of flags that I can get made. So everybody who visits Cigartopia should get a flag. Steve Saka says Risk is a great game, but those games can go 6 to 8 hours. They can, but there are certain versions of them that are like Risk 2210 is 5 turns. When we were in college and we played that, it was like a 90-minute.
Plus, our game would have gone faster had we been rolling the
Had
right die.
had we not given the attacker the unfair disadvantage of losing absolutely every attack every time, yeah, it would have gone a lot faster.
I can't believe it took me like 17 rolls to take off Billy's 3 guys on China. It made me so mad. Thankfully, I just had enough troops.
Dylan says, I want, oh, that's not it. Dylan says, here it is. I want Cigartopia war medals.
Ooh.
Bro, I love
Whoa,
that idea.
that is a
Cigartopia
great
is a
idea.
peaceful country.
Yeah. I just want to do it in a way that's respectful to the actual military and their challenge coins. So we're not giving out challenge coins for a fake military or medals for a fake military.
Stolen valor.
All right. Yeah. Now-
Steve Saka is here. Unstolen valor.
We got to dive into the topic of this show because tonight we have to crown the King of Connecticuts. I really thought a graphic would appear on the screen when I did that.
Oh, sorry, I was.
Let's do it again. The king, crowning the king of Connecticut.
Your hand movement just didn't look like mine, so I didn't. I don't look like that.
Just looks like I'm grabbing my head.
Yeah, you just look like you're going through a schizo break. You can do
Connecticut
that.
Shade Cigars in the cigar world, widely hailed as the great beginner cigar. If somebody says, what's a good beginner cigar? 9 times out of 10, what gets recommended is a Connecticut Shade cigar, as we are all imbibing around the studio here. They're also widely regarded as like a great cigar for pairing with a cup of coffee. Now, they're not the only wrapper that people pair with a cup of coffee. People pick a lot of different cigars for coffee. But also, Connecticut Shade gets kind of a bad rap because over the last, I would say, 10 or 15 years, a lot of Connecticut Shades were put out that kind of fell flat. They were mild. You know what? They were too mild. It sort of seemed like some cigar makers put out Connecticut Shade cigars as like a grab at the new cigar aficionado to try to bring them into their brand. And now, just in the last few years, I would say in the last like 3 to 5 years, you have seen some Connecticut Shade cigars come out that have been really good, very compelling. One that I don't have a graphic of, but Steve Saka's here, so dear God, I better mention it. And mostly because of the Dunbarton fans as well, is the Sobre Mesa Brulee from Dunbarton, and the Sobre Mesa Brulee Blue, and the Sobre Mesa Brulee Wagashi. These 3 cigars Steve Saka made because of that feeling that a lot of Connecticut's had fallen flat, even becomes sort of bitter to the taste. And truthfully, Connecticut Shade in its heyday was a very nice, very creamy, very sweet cigar. What you've seen these days is a lot of Connecticut Shades hitting the market that are really more exciting. There's a lot more going on to the flavor profile. What I want to do is I want to do this among the viewers, okay? Among everybody watching and among everybody in the studio here. We're going to be putting up 2 Connecticut Shade cigars at a time. I kind of want to vote on them.
Okay, it's gonna be either one or one. Like
one or the other. You guys
we
are
have to
gonna
move
pick
our
one or
head
the
like
other.
this.
And we're yeah. You're gonna pick one, or you're gonna pick the other, and we're gonna see if we can come up with a consensus or how many ties we get in here. And then I want to know from each of you what, in your mind, is the best Connecticut Shade cigar out there. You can each pick and name one cigar and one cigar only. And so let's dive in. Get your commenting fingers ready at home. Steve Saka says no graphic means you're not going to include it. Well, that is true. Yes.
Yes.
But you also, your wife called me today because, as we both know, I don't have any, which is my fault. All right, let's cruise into the first one. First mashup of 2 Connecticut cigars. We're going to take a look at Oscar Verdaderes. Oscar makes a few Connecticut's. These aren't the only 2. There's a Leaf by Oscar, okay? But on the screen in front of me are 2 Connecticut cigars. The Oscar Connecticut, which comes wrapped 2/3 in a Candela leaf, and then the Superfly by Oscar Valderez. Both Connecticut Shade cigars. What's unique about Oscar cigars is that he comes out of Honduras. We've already got people voting. Oscar's ahead right now. Superfly, now they're touched even. Superfly's ahead. Keep it going. Superfly's pulling ahead right now. We got Dalton Hopkins with the 3rd vote. 4th vote for Superfly from Jason Colson. Jim just says blue. All right.
So I guess that's the vote for the Oscar. Okay.
Superfly is, let me bang through these really fast, Billy. Superfly.
It's Superfly.
The crowd's consensus is Superfly between the Oscar Connecticut and Superfly. Anybody, Terrence, you've smoked the Superfly Connecticut.
Oh, yeah.
What is your perception of this cigar?
I enjoy it a whole lot. It is definitely going to have that. I don't know how to say it, but it has something that you can sink your teeth into. I don't want to say it's meaty, but it does have something that's not just your grandfather's Connecticut, which is everybody uses that term to describe Connecticut's now. But it does have something there that I'm able to enjoy. But personally, I'm going to lean towards the Oscar a little bit more, actually.
Why is that?
I get a very vibrant cinnamon note from that cigar. That cigar, I'm not sure why. I just feel like it just has more nuance to it than a lot of people give it credit for. And I think that's my pick for these 2.
All right, Billy, pick one or the other.
Superfly.
Superfly.
Okay.
So we got one for Superfly, one for Oscar.
I'll go Superfly.
Superfly, minus Superfly as well. I agree, Terrence, that I think the Oscar gives you something good and unique. But Superfly is a cigar when it came out, just absolutely rocked my world with this really bright. It was one of the first of the cigars that was kind of coming out of that era of more dull Connecticut cigars. And it was like, oh, wow, we're starting to do really interesting stuff with Connecticut Shade. All right, the next one. 2 cigars right here. AJ
Ooh.
Fernandez, a huge
Ooh.
name in the world of cigars. He has got 2 Connecticut's in his catalog. One of them is the AJ Fernandez New World Connecticut, and the other one, a longer standing line in the AJ Fernandez catalog called San Lotano, named after the San Lotano cigar factory in Nicaragua. And this one, I think we got a clear winner already. New World. New World. Yep. Crypto fans. Jason Colson says San Lotano. Damon, thank you. Appreciate that. Richard Vincento, New World. Eric Miller, New World. All right. Dalton Hopkins. So New World is the winner among the viewers right now. And everybody else commenting New World, all the way down to Benjamin, New World. Okay. Around the studio, I want to get it from you guys. New World versus San Lotano. Terrence.
It's a tough choice because I really do enjoy the San Lotano. I feel like it doesn't start off with the pepper blast like the New World does, but also the New World has been such a go-to cigar for me in the mornings that off the strength of how many I've had alone, I'm just gonna have to say New World.
New World. All right, Billy.
New World.
New World. Ryan.
Yeah, New World for sure.
I'm picking San Lotano. I actually
Nice.
like the San Lotano better than the New World.
I love both cigars. That's the hardest one for me. So
I
far.
think the that AJ Fernandez San Lotano, the Connecticut, the Habano, and the Maduro are the 3 most underrated cigars in AJ's catalog.
Agreed.
And I think they're that way because San Lotano was like one of the first things AJ did as his own AJ Fernandez cigars. And so this is like everybody's focused on the New World and the New World Dorado and the
new thing, right?
Dias de Gloria and all the brand new stuff. Yeah, the newest thing always gets more credibility. And I think that San Lotano just absolutely
But the legacy stuff is there because it's good.
Yeah, it stays
That's
around.
true.
Has staying power. It
It
still has
has
staying
staying
power.
All right, next 2 cigars. Drop them down in the comments.
Ooh.
These are 2 newer cigars to the market. Okay, so the first one is the Chillin' Moose Shady Moose. And the next one is El Rey del Mundo Shade Grown. I almost said sun grown. So these are both more economy-based Connecticut Shade cigars, and that is what I love about both of these blends. Both clocking in, yeah, start putting those up there, Billy. Steve, both of these clock in the $5 to $6 range. And the surprising thing about Shady Moose, the thing that I love about it, somehow they do this
It's
in
like
their
$6 or
$5 deal.
$7.
It's like 5 different country blend. It's like Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, and like Colombia or something like that.
Nice.
It's a tie.
There's
I
a
saw
couple
somebody say
ties
it's a
that
tie.
popped up.
Who's winning? Saka votes El
It's-
Rey del Mundo.
Yes.
Pretty close.
El Rey all day. Wow, it is very close. The moose is loose from Matt Coyne. Steve Saka, I think he's partial to El Rey because he's got a history with El Rey.
He got
as he
history
says.
over there. Yeah.
All right, let's vote around the room. Terrence.
I'm gonna have to
obviously-
go with the shade. No, I'm joking. El Rey.
Yeah, okay.
El Rey. Yeah.
Billy?
Billy, what are you picking?
You currently have the Shady Moose, do you know?
This is my first time having the Shady Moose.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I've had a couple shade grown El Reys. I almost am in a tie in this one.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
both great.
Neither edges out over the other.
Yeah.
Billy's undecided.
Yeah, and I'm El Rey
You're El Rey as
by
well.
a little bit.
Nice.
I go with El Rey as well.
Okay.
I pick it over the Shady Moose. I think it's just absolutely outstanding. Like the whole El Rey del Mundo.
We're crowning a king, and it literally has the king of the world in the name.
So, and El Rey is about to put out a limited edition El Rey del Mundo called, you know what the limited edition name is?
King of the world.
The King of the World. It's literally the King of the World in Spanish and then the King of the World in English.
Well,
That's the
Foundation
name of
did
the
that
cigar.
with the white
Yeah, great.
And I remember when El Rey, the Oscuro, when I first got it in the humidor, I remember looking at that. And it was Terrence's favorite cigar. And I was like, what is the deal here that this El Rey cigar that's been around forever only has one cigar in the line?
Right.
And then they just started slamming out the El Rey Natural and the El Rey Shade and now the limited edition El Rey. Like they just turned it into a full line out of what was basically one blend. So
Do you think that we have anything to do with that?
no,
Okay.
I literally I don't think so at all.
I would say to the comments, this is a tie.
A tie in the
Okay.
comments and a tie in our hearts. Okay.
Very much so.
All right. We've got, what do we got? 2 more?
Yes.
All right. Get your commenting fingers ready. Here it goes. This one is a Matt Booth special. the Room 101 Farce Connecticut versus the brand new Los Stados Connecticut. I personally have a clear winner between these two. And I'm curious. I don't think the comments are going to go as crazy on this one because I don't think enough people have tried the Los Stados Connecticut.
Right.
It's only been in the market for a few weeks. Shane says tie. Never tied.
Never tried.
Never tried. Yeah, that's Farce. Okay. Farce. Room 101. Robert Rayburn says American Viking, just to be clear. American Viking. Los Stados. All right, we got a few. So Farce is pulling ahead. I see Room 101 here. Only tried the Farce. I think some people are saying Room 101 because they've only tried it. And yes, the Farce Connecticut from Room 101 is good. Here's why I love Los Stados and personally vote Los Stados. Brand spanking new, and it's Terrence called it. What did you call it? The poor man's Johnny Tobacconaut.
Yeah, just like that. It doesn't have that leathery note that I get from Johnny Tobacconaut. It's a lot more of a smoother flavor delivery. But when I can't get my hands on Johnny, I'm gonna get some LSD.
Dude, yes, it is called LSD, Los Stados Deluxe. And you know that's a Matt Booth thing. You got to know that is. Great Connecticut for around $8. And not to besmirch the Farce because it's a good cigar, but if I was picking it, what's the one on the right again? That's a logo for a WNBA team. I for the longest time wouldn't work with Los Stados because I looked at that and I was like, what women's basketball team is that the logo for? It's literally what it looks like. But Los Stados Deluxe is they call it a collaboration between Matt Booth and Justin Andrews, but Matt Booth and Justin Andrews both work for the same company. So I mean, you can call that a collaboration, but it's just like two guys in the office it's like me and that guy across the conference table are going to collaborate together this afternoon on a project. It's like, no, you guys work at the same place. You're working on the same project. But Los Stados is a line that I hope, for all of its looking like a basketball team logo, I hope that it does. Yeah, exactly, Dan. Tampon wrapper. That is the one that does look like it is wrapped like a tampon. Thank you, Skinny Monkey. Okay. This is the last one. This one I know we're going to get comments about. What's that?
The Farce won that, by the way.
The Farce won that one, according to the crowd. Oh, in the room, what do you guys vote? I didn't even take the vote in the room. I vote Los Stados.
Farce.
Los Stados. Los Stados edges out here in the studio among the four of us. All right. Yeah. Steve Saka says, seriously, that was my first thought, and the color made me think of the Jazz, like a Jazz place. That's fair.
No, like the Utah Jazz.
Oh, the Jazz, the basketball team.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how familiar with sports I am. Yeah. All right.
Last pair right up here.
Last pairing is the Perdomo vintage double whatever, 12-year vintage, double-aged, whatever. Yeah.
That's tough.
Or the Perdomo 30th anniversary, both in Connecticut. Here is the defining factor between the two of these. The vintage 12-year is double-aged in barrels, presumably bourbon barrels of some type. So. The 30th anniversary has got a 15-year aged wrapper leaf on it. And we're going to have to keep close track of this. So far, vintage is ahead. Somebody just said 20th. Vintage 30-year. I think the vintage 12-year is still edged out ahead. Now, vintage 12-year has been out substantially longer than the 30-year.
Yes. And 30 is probably a little harder to get your hands on at the moment, too. Right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
so.
They've got a very limited number of places that's available. So double aged. I still feel like it's pretty close now.
30th, it's pretty 30th. Close.
12-year, 30th, 12-year, 12-year, 12-year. Steve's got to think, you know what? Let's just wait. Let's wait. Steve's got to think about we'll just wait for Steve to come up with his consensus of it. Perdomo 30th, 12-year. God, I feel like this one's really close.
Yeah.
All right. Let's poll the room. I want to hear what everybody here has to say, starting with Terrence. Let's go around the room.
Bless you, Ryan. You made another elephant sound. For me, it's a little easy for me to go 12-year double-aged vintage. I feel like that the barrel aging gives it a nice oakiness that the
Damn it.
What happened? Oh, he was doing the deed.
He was doing the deed.
Doing the deed on the camera.
Like I said, I get oakiness that I don't get from the 30th. The 30th is extremely smooth, but I think that the 12-year double-aged vintage balances flavor with smoothness very well, and it's probably one of my favorite lines that Perdomo has.
Dude, it's still neck and neck in the comments. 12 year and 30th seem to be relatively similar right now. Steve Saka is going to go with the 12-year vintage. And Mountie Matt says, Billy, way too late.
Guys, I'm sorry.
Once again, I'm not trying to police it that bad. Like, I'm not like trying, it's not like the unforgivable sin. We're just trying to get better at this so that we can exist in a world where this is eventually not allowed. Because I definitely believe we're headed that way. All right. So what have we got behind the camera? Terrence, you said
I said 12-year double age vintage, Billy.
12.
Ryan.
30th
30th anniversary.
30th.
We're gonna give it a
great
split.
Flavors. Yeah.
We're gonna give it a split tie here because I'm also a 30th anniversary guy. I love the 30th anniversary. I think that it's like I always use that word refinement. That extra clean, crisp, clear flavor, that Macallan 12-year, like solid, no imperfections. The 30th has that for me.
Coming from the guy smoking a $100 cigar.
Coming from the guy
But
smoking
I'll say
$100
great
my
flavors
father.
as it ramps up too.
Yes.
That's what I like about it.
Now, you guys can learn more about all of these cigars on the community on Cigars Daily Plus, including the Dunbarton Sobre Mesa Brulee, which, by the way, had a lot of honorable mentions in the comments. We would ask about like 2 cigars from the same brand, by the way, a lesson I learned from Steve Saka. And then people would just be like, oh, Wagashi. What do you like better, the Los Stados or the Room 101? Oh, the Wagashi. We like the Wagashi. Okay. Do it for Cigartopia from Steve. All right, guys, that is what we're going to talk about now. We are going to go to the after party on the community on Cigars Daily Plus. This is where the show continues without all the moderation and switching cameras so we're not puffing, and without cigars being considered taboo. This is where we run the show on our own server on the community on Cigars Daily Plus. You can go there and sign up. It's easy and free to do. It requires basically your name, a username, an email, and a password. That's about it. You're in. Join us there. We do it on our own server, so server space is limited, but we hope you guys will join us there. Otherwise, stay tuned for another amazing episode next week. We'll bring you guys more news from Cigartopia and more of the amazing parts of the cigar world. Thank you all, and Steve Saka, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you guys for being here. This is Tim and the whole crew headed the after party. Otherwise, we'll see you all next Monday.
I love you, Steve.